Good morning, class. So, today we'll be dealing with Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day, written by William Shakespeare? So, without any delay, let's get into the class. So, before getting into the sonnet, let me give a brief introduction about the author, what a sonnet is, and what are the various kinds of sonnet. So, William Shakespeare, dating from 1564 to 1661, he was the major playwright, actor, and a poet in English literature. He is regarded as England's national poet and bard of Avon, known as the greatest writer from English literature, and his major works include Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, As You Like It, and many more. A sonnet is a 14-line poem written in iambic pentameter, which is followed by an unstressed syllable to stressed syllable. It is written in strict rhyme scheme followed by a pattern of structure. The rhyme scheme is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. The first three stanzas are known as quatrains and the last one is known as couplet. This is also known as Shakespearean sonnet. The Italian or Petrarchan sonnet is followed by 8 lines octave and 6 lines sestet, rhyming ABAB, ABAB or CDE, CDE. These are the two main patterns of sonnets, Petrarchan or Italian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets. Among that, 1 to 126 is addressed to an anonymous young handsome man known as Fair Youth. 127 to 152 is addressed to dark lady referred to as Mary Fitton. 153 and 154 are regarded as Cupid, which comes under the regular sonnets. It is published by Thomas Thorpe and dedicated to W.H. The main themes of the sonnets include love, beauty, passion, nature, etc. Now let's get into the sonnet. First, I'll read the poem. Let's go through it first and then I'll give detailed explanation about each stanza. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance of nature's changing course and trimmed, by the eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair though owe. Nor shall death brag though wandered rest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time though grow. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So before getting into the explanation of the sonnet, let me give a gist about what this sonnet is. So sonnet 18 is addressed to fair youth, the anonymous young man, and here the poet is talking about his beloved. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Here the poet is trying to compare his lover or his beloved to a summer's day. The poet is in search of a metaphor to compare his beloved's beauty, and then he resonates it with a summer's day. Then the poet says, my beloved has more qualities than a summer's day. The poet says that the light and qualities of a summer day shall suppress or diminish soon. And the poet tells that, but the beauty of my beloved shall live throughout my poem, so that he is willing to write about it. He is trying to give immortality to the poet's beloved's beauty. The poet tries to focus on friendship, tries to capture the beauty of the beloved through poetry. Even though it is not stated directly, it is a love poem. So let us now get into the detailed explanation of each stanzas. So first I'll be concentrating on the first quatrain. I'll be just giving a read again through it in order to give an explanation about it. So let's get into it. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaf hath all too short a date. As I said, the poet in the first line itself, he is comparing his beloved to a summer's day. And the summer's day here is a metaphor. He's trying to bring a comparison between his beloved to a summer's day. He is also trying to bring a contrast between human and nature in the first line itself. In the second line, we can see the poet suggesting more lovely and more temperate. In those lines, we can understand that the poet is suggesting that his beloved's beauty is more lovely and more lively and more temperate than the summer's day. In the third line, we can see that the poet drawing the effects of a summer's day. He says that the beauty of a summer's day will diminish or will suppress by time, and he says that the beloved's beauty, his beloved's beauty won't suppress or diminish with time. He's giving life to the beloved's beauty or love in the poem, and he ends stating that with the last line of first quatrain. So the main gist of the first quatrain is comparison to a summer's day, implied superiority, unpredictability of summer, and contrast and permanence. Now let's get into the second quatrain. I'll be reading it again. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance on nature's changing course untrimmed. In the first line, we can say the poet addressing sometimes the eye of heaven, that is, the sun shines too hot. The summer's day can be considered as very hot, and that makes it very undesirable for humans. In the next line, he suggests that the sun's complexion can be dimmed by the obstruction of a cloud or a rain. Here in this line, he talks about the sky. And because of the obstruction of a cloud or a rain, the sun's beauty can be dimmed, which also takes away the beauty of it. And the poet here refers fair from fair. That is, most of the beautiful days comes to an end, sometimes even with the destruction. Here he talks about the night or any other chance. In the last line, the word untrimmed means changing the nature's course. And by changing the nature's course, here the poet represents the change of seasons throughout the year. And in just, the poet says that the summer has to go away because of the change of seasons, and the nature has to welcome other seasons. So in the second quatrain, the poet talks about the impermanence of the sun, inconsistency in beauty, nature's decline, and implied contrast with his beloved. So he is trying to bring a contrast between the summer's day and his beloved. He says that even though the summer's day has destructions by its own, the beauty of the beloved, his beloved, won't have the same. Now let's get into the third quatrain. By thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owe, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when an eternal lines to time thou grow. So in this stanza, the poet also talks about the comparison between the beloved and the summer's beauty. He draws in examples or suggestions telling that why a summer's beauty or why the beauty of his beloved is more than the summer's beauty. The poet here is trying to talk about eternal summer. The word eternal summer will never fade. And here with this word, with the usage of eternal summer, he's trying to talk about a love which is more than physical, which is internal, which is eternal. He's trying to bring in the concept of immortality, and he's trying to say that The beauty of his beloved is kind of immortal beauty, and he's trying to put it in through his poetry. Following that, the poet says that she will not lose possession, which means that the eternal beauty will not lose what it has. The beauty remains, the beauty lives on through immortality. He then compares the immortality of beauty through death. Even death won't be able to take about the beloved's beauty. It grows as though she grows old. Uh, so that is all about the third quatrain. The main gist of this quatrain is talking about eternal beauty, no decline in fairness, no death's claim, and immortalization through verse. The last couplet of the poem: so long as man can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. The final couplet is very easy to understand. So, as long as men can breathe and eyes can see, the beloved's beauty will exist. Even death won't be able to take away that beauty. In the last line of the couplet, he is trying to immortalize the beauty of his beloved through the poem, through the verse. He is trying to give life, a forever, an eternal life of his beloved through the poem. And how the future generations or the upcoming generations will remember his beloved through the poetry, through his word. That is how the poem ends. That is how the couplet ends. I forgot to add this on. The main gist of the couplet is eternal life through poetry and immortalization of the beloved. That is all about this poem. Shall I come back to a summer's day? I have tried to talk about this poem in a very just manner. If you have any doubt, please contact me or try to message me through the comments. I will do my part in the upcoming videos. Thank you so much. Have a good day.